Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this is part 2 of my March book haul. I have so many books for my March book haul that I've divided it into 4 categories. And this will be the adult/women's fiction and also Christian fiction. These are almost all going to be books from a library book sale, and it was fill a bag for $2. So I kind of went a little crazy and I filled 4 bags. But, you know, I got some great books, and I had a list with me of the books I have. The one list that I had on a separate piece of paper that I did not have in my notebook was the Grace Livingston Hill books that I have. And there are 100 of them, and I have about 80. So it's impossible for me to remember exactly which ones I have and which ones I don't have. It just so happened that this particular sale had quite a few Grace Livingston Hill books. So I just went ahead and I put them in my bag, and I haven't even checked these with my list to see which ones I have and which ones I don't. But the extras I have, I can donate to our church library, I can give them to a friend, I can put them on Craigslist. So I'm not worried about having duplicates, but I would like to collect the ones that I don't have. I have 26 Grace Livingston Hill books, and then these 4 right here are from the Grace Livingston Hill Library. They are by Isabella Alden, which was Grace Livingston Hill's aunt and mentor. And I actually got 6 of those at the sale, but 2 of them were duplicates, and I have 2 of them already on my shelves, and then the 2 I got at the sale I have set aside to give a friend. So, so these are some, I've never read any of these, so I was excited to get these as well. If you're not familiar with Grace Livingston Hill, she was a Christian author in the early 1900s, just a very prolific Christian author. There are at least 100 published books. A few of them are bound up short stories, but most of them are full-length novels. They're short novels. They're not, I don't think any of them are exceptionally long, but I was first introduced to her as, I guess I was in college, when my mom was at a Christian book club and she received a Grace Livingston Hill book, which she passed on to me, and that started my lifelong love of her writing. So one of these days I will do a whole video on Grace Livingston Hill and show some of her books, but for now I just thought I would show you that I did get quite a few of her books at the book sale. Alright, so on to the rest of the haul. Some of these are YA books and some of them I'm not sure, so I just kind of lumped them all together. This one I know is a YA book. In fact, my daughter Katie has already read it and she got it from the library. So when I saw it at the sale, I thought I would go ahead and get her her own copy because she does like to reread books, and this seemed like something she might like to reread. This is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Matson. I was excited to find this because I first learned about this on BookTube and I've had it on my TBR. This is The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery by Gabrielle Zevin, and I'm not sure if this is a YA or an adult book, but I'm excited to get it because I want to read it. Keep hearing about Jasper Ford on BookTube, so I'm not sure if he's YA or not. This is Shades of Grey, and I have no idea what this is about. I just recognized it because I've seen it on BookTube and thought I would pick it up. A couple of my favorite books I already have copies of, but I like to give them to people as gifts. My favorite book of all time, A Redbird Christmas, and it's a beautiful copy, so whenever I find one that's you know, that I can get inexpensively, I like to have it on hand in case I need a nice gift for someone. And the same thing for Miss Julia Speaks Her Mind by Anne Ross. This is the first in the series, and I love to give it away and get people started on Miss Julia books. I got a few books to add to my 7 collected authors that I've never read collection. I got 2 from Elizabeth Berg. This is Dream When You're Feeling Blue, and The Last Time I Saw You. And then I picked up a Jody Thomas book. I think I actually got this at Goodwill. This is The Widows of Wichita County. I wasn't planning on collecting any more Jody Thomas books until I get started with the Harmony series, but I had seen this one on Goodreads and thought it looked really good. And I think the setting of most of her books is Texas, which is where a lot of my relatives are from. So I thought after I read this, one of them might be interested in this book, and so I went ahead and picked it up. If you were following my channel when I first got started last fall, I think for TBR Takedown, I read Christy by Catherine Marshall, and so I have since then picked up Julie, and I have not read it yet. And then I saw this one, also by Catherine Marshall. This is A Man Called Peter, and so at some point I hope to get to this because I really did enjoy Christy, and I think I would enjoy other works by Catherine Marshall. Another one of my favorite Christian authors is Jeanette Oak, and I got Like Gold Refined. This series is called A Prairie Legacy, and it takes place after the Love Comes Softly series. I have only read the first one of that series, and I think this is the fourth one. I found this at a thrift store. I need to find books 2 and 3 before I get to this one, but I don't see these very often. Sometimes I see Jeanette Oak books and I forget that I don't have these and haven't read them, so this one caught my eye and I decided to go ahead and get it. And another one called Heart of the Wilderness. This was another one that I didn't have, and I do have most of Jeanette Oak's books, but this one didn't ring a bell. I didn't even check my list. I was pretty sure I didn't have it, so I went ahead and picked it up. I don't usually collect Debbie Macomber, but I saw this book at our library book sale and I didn't get it, and so then I saw it again at the Fill a Bag for $2 sale, and I decided to go ahead and get it. It's such a pretty book and it's so short that I thought I would read it and then pass it on to someone else. I don't usually pick up romances. The reason that this one caught my eye is because the series is called Perpetually Yours, so and with some little paw prints, so it's apparently a pet-themed romance, and it's called Love's 9 Lives by Kara Coulter and Cassidy Caron. It looks like just a fun little short read, and I thought it looked cute. Alright, now I keep hearing about this on BookTube. I have actually I've actually listened to this on audio. This is the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Marianne Schaefer and Annie Barrows. I have listened to this on audio 2 or 3 years ago for book club, and it didn't really, I didn't get that excited about it. Because of the format being letters, it was hard to follow on audio. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up again and maybe give it a reread, because I think I really missed the whole gist of it. But yet lately I've been hearing people rave about it. So I decided that I would go ahead and take another look at this. Now here's a really old one that caught my eye, and it looks like a lot of fun to read. This is called The Real Diary of the Worst Farmer by Henry A. Shute. It's a comedy book by Houghton Mifflin. It looks like this is the first printing of this. It may have been the only printing of this in 1920, and it just looks hilarious. I'm really excited to read this. It just looks like so much fun, because I grew up on a farm in Oklahoma. Now, we didn't grow crops or anything. We had cattle, but we always called it a farm instead of a ranch, even though the official name of it was Slowpoke Ranch. But I love farm stories and, country goodness. I just think this is going to be a great book. The last 6 books I have no idea about. They were cover buys. Between the titles and the covers, I just decided to pick them up. This is True Confections by Catherine Weber. This is Self-Storage. I'm not sure how to say this last name, Gail Brandis, maybe. And it's funny because at first I looked at it and I thought, oh, the cover's damaged. But then I realized it's like a tea stain. It's coffee stain. It's like a tea or coffee stain because it's supposed to be like an old storage label. So it's meant to be that way. This one is called Keeping Time by Stacy McGlynn. This one is called A Change of Heart by Philip Gully. This particular library where the sale was, they put their barcodes right on the top, and it's almost always right over an important word in the title, which really is irritating. Most of them are right on top where I can peel it, but there are a few that are under the plastic, so that's just annoying. Usually library stickers don't bother me, but when they cover the title, that's kind of bothersome when, they could put it somewhere else. This is my kitty cat Sweetie. She's in my box of books. The next 2 are pig themed. I don't know. This one is called Pigtopia by Kitty Fitzgerald. It actually looks like kind of a seriously haunting book. It sounds really interesting. Let me read you just a little bit. It says, from novelist, playwright, and poet Kitty Fitzgerald comes one of the sweetest and most compelling tales of friendship, betrayal, sacrifice, and redemption since classics like Of Mice and Men and Charlotte's Web. Society has rejected Jack Plum, born with a disfigurement. He is labeled either a monster or an imbecile by his abusive mother and thoughtless neighbors, but Jack has created a haven, his Pigtopia, a shelter in his cellar with a tunnel out into the woods, built with his long-lost father and shared with his beloved pet pigs. Then Jack meets Holly Locke, a sensitive young teenager who lives nearby, and offers her a piglet. Together they forge an unlikely and beautiful friendship, but society and fate intervene, and Jack's secret is threatened by forces beyond his control. In language of stunning beauty, Kitty Fitzgerald has created a startlingly original world with characters that will capture your imagination. So that really sounds kind of creepy and kind of good. So, it's just one of those things. I got it because it sounded really interesting. And then the last one is by Kinky Friedman, and it's called The Christmas Pig. It just looks hilarious. Here's the back cover. It says, a story of a little boy, a talking pig, and a painting that changed the meaning of Christmas. Probably won't try to get to this until Christmas, but it looks really fun. Okay. Okay, so that's everything in adult fiction, women's fiction, Christian fiction, and a few YA books that I got in this haul. I've already uploaded my Cozy Mystery haul for March, and upcoming will be my nonfiction haul, as well as my children's and middle grade haul. So please stay tuned to my channel, and I'll be back with those hauls as soon as I can. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.